On today's episode, we ask the question, ho, 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 or no, no, no?
Because we're talking about the notorious Christmas slasher, Silent Night, Deadly Night.
We got one Santa a stabbing, two boys a traumatized, and four sequels a milking this franchise dry.
We're turning sleigh bells into sleigh bells.
This is SlashBack Cinema Christmas Edition. Well done. You really put a little extra mustard on, too. How you doing, man?
Good.
You all ready for the Christmas season?
I am, and so far I've not felt compelled to murder anyone while dressed as Santa Claus. So making good progress, tracking right along. So things are going in the right direction.
You got your tree up and all your decorations?
Yeah, I do a little Clark Griswold action over here. And do the lights outside. I've got two trees outside that I do the colored lights on. Then inside we have another tree, and then I forget what it's called. Like, it's not garland, it's the greens, like it's actual pine, and then you wrap it in lights. So it does look very festive down here.
Have you guys ever done the thing where you go out and you chop down your own Christmas tree?
You would think we would do that living in Vermont. You can actually get a permit and just walk in the woods and cut a tree down. But let's just say Jen has very specific taste in trees, and the Charlie Brown Christmas tree, it just doesn't cut the mustard. So yeah, how about you guys?
Kim also has really specific taste. We, a couple of times when the kids were young, we went out into, they have like these, Christmas tree farms.
Right.
You pay and you go out, and then, Kim examines every tree in the forest, and then she finds the one. As a Jewish man without much Christmas experience, it's not built into my DNA, but also no knowledge of how to cut down a tree. I'm not even sure I had the right tools with me. I just remember laying on the ground in the snow in the freezing Wisconsin winter. Pine needles are jamming me in the back, and sticky sap is covering my hands. Yeah, it's enough to turn anybody into a Santa-wielding axe maniac.
Oh my God. Well, let me ask you this, as we're about to get into another Christmas horror movie. There are a plethora of these movies out there.
Yeah,
but
wow.
I was reflecting, and maybe I'm wrong because I didn't really do any research, but why no Hanukkah horror movies? Like, what is going on the Jewish side of the house over there?
Yeah, Hanukkah is not as prominent a holiday in Judaism as Christmas is to Christianity. I think it's just got elevated because it's near Christmas.
Okay. What about like a Rosh Hashanah kind of horror movie? Would that be better?
Maybe a Purim Hanukkah,
okay.
a Purim horror movie might make sense. You might be really narrowing your audience. I feel like you do a Christmas horror movie, you got like 2 billion potential audience members. Not to mention those of us who are not Christian and do not find these movies blasphemous at all. So you've got a large potential audience. I'm not sure that people want to see like somebody being stabbed with a menorah. I don't know that it's going to have the same.
Those dreidels are fucking deadly, man. If one comes off the table, you could lose an eye. We've seen that happen before in some of these movies.
Easily. Christmas. Yeah. The number of movies that are like Christmas themed horror movies, it just seems like it is quite a deep bench you guys got.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Strong lineup starting in the 70s. Maybe there was stuff before that, but yeah.
And so had you ever seen The Silent Night, Deadly Night from 1984?
No, this is first watch for me. And a little preview of what's to come. Might be my last watch, but how about you?
I've never seen this movie. I was aware of it. I mean, certain movies, I've talked about this before, how some movies are really badly named, but Silent Night, Deadly Night, that's actually a pretty good name. And so I feel like if you got a good name for your movie, then you potentially, it just sinks into the cultural zeitgeist. It just really grabs people. And this movie really seemed to get a lot of attention. Did you look up anything in the history of this movie and how people reacted to it?
Yeah, and the movie had a fantastic poster too. It was really well done. Like the Santa going down the chimney with the axe, very. Here we go, iconic.
Yes. Yeah, that poster, I feel like I knew that poster before I knew anything about the movie.
But yeah, I did read a little bit about it. Yeah, there was a strong protest movement against this film being released. And what was the name of the group here? I wrote it down. Oh, it was Citizens Against Movie Madness, which is just a terrible name to name your group. Like, this is going to be your group trying to take down this movie. But yeah, they lobbied so hard. I think it got pulled in like 2 weeks after launch, right?
Yeah, it really worked. That surprises me because I feel like horror movies, they get extra juice from people like parents protesting like how horrible the movie is. I feel like you're just bringing more attention to the movie. But in this
Totally.
case, weirdly, it actually seemed to work and the movie got pulled from theaters.
There must have been something going on there because yeah, there was some note from TriStar, who I think was the film company that was behind this, saying it would have earned well over $20 million. So like, when has that ever, like, if there's money on the table, when did good conscience ever kick in? They're like, "Oh, we've gone too far.
Yes,
Let's pull
apparently.
this film."
Yeah, this is probably the only time.
That
So
is
before
fascinating.
we get into some film lore, you want to hit us with a summary of the plot?
Of course, I would love to. So, slashers. This one, if you haven't seen it, it's about a traumatized young boy named Billy. He witnesses his parents be murdered by Santa Claus on the way back from visiting their kooky old grandfather.
Hey, podcast listeners. This is Shawnee recording this a week after Ryan and I talked about this movie. I'm not sure whether Ryan knows that there is no such thing as Santa Claus the way he's summarizing this movie. He's making it sound like Santa Claus is killing this poor guy's family. What he actually meant to say was a murderer who's dressed like Santa Claus is killing this family. All right, back to the summary.
On the way back, Santa flags him down, and then Santa proceeds to kill his dad and attempt to assault his mother. They all die, and him and his brother do wind up surviving. They go on to be raised in this foster home. Older Billy now, flash forward, works in the toy store, but he has this enduring, long lasting fear and trauma from his youth. And one night, Christmas Eve, he snaps, and the movie follows the action.
I feel like this movie has like this incredibly clear three-act structure. It's act one, Billy as a child is traumatized by Christmas, and then it walks you through for 30 minutes exactly what traumatized him. And then act two, Billy as a grown-up gets a job at a toy store, ends up snapping and killing everybody in the toy store. Act three, he goes out on the town and starts like murdering people, and then the police are chasing him. It's like a really clear structure from like act to act to act, exactly like where you are in the movie.
I'll highlight some of my thoughts about the plot later, but yeah, no, it is well structured. It's shot in a way that you can follow the story, and that is one of the comments or overall comments in this film, is that there's clear story and motivation behind this character and
Yeah.
why he does what he does.
This movie really walks you through everything terrible that happened to Billy on Christmas, that, his family gets killed. He sees his mom like sexually assaulted and then murdered. Weirdly, they cut to the scene of the dad who has died, like fall out of the car. Like what, 7 times in the movie? I was traumatized
Oh,
by how
that
many times you gotta watch the dad fall out of the car.
that was one of my critiques about this film. Like, how many fucking flashbacks do we have to watch? Oh, it's dad, mom, then mom's died, and then
Yes, they keep
everything that
reshowing
he's
it.
seen that's horrible. They just keep playing it over and over again. I was just like, okay.
Yes, there was a lot of that. Why do you think they did that? Do you think there wasn't enough blood in the movie, and so they would replay, like, death scenes to show you, like, just to add more violence to the movie? I wasn't clear why they would show you the parents getting killed, like, 4 times.
I just think it was like an '80s kinda thing. It was like
Mhm.
it just in terms of, like, the flashbacks and some of the scenes, it just felt like that was kind of the formula that they followed. It kinda had that '80s stink on it a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of '80s haircuts, '80s style.
Speaking of, '80s throwback, really what stood out to me in this film was the freaking toy store, and every single toy on the shelf. Like, there's a lot of footage of what is in that store as the scene's unfolding. You got He-Man, you got Return
Yeah.
of the Jedi, Jabba the Hutt, that kinda, like, whole play set, some of the Hasbro toys,
There was
G.I.
Smurfs.
Joe,
Yeah.
Smurfs, Krull the movie, there was the board game. I was like, "Wow, I feel like I'm in Toys R Us in the 1980s."
Yes, Snoopy, you see Snoopy, and they all are kind of looking horrified as these murders are happening.
Yeah, blood splattering all over the place.
Yes, another, aspect of '80s is, did you notice that the scene where Billy is with his younger brother, does his brother even have a name?
Oh,
So,
yeah. Oh,
in the
Andy. Yeah.
okay, in the beginning of the movie, Andy, the younger brother, is just a baby. Is Andy wearing a seatbelt by any chance? It doesn't look like anyone in this movie wears a seatbelt, including
No,
the
I
baby.
I think we talked about that in the last episode. Yeah, no seatbelts. Like that. I guess when you had a baby back in the day, just throw him in the back seat. Is that what happened?
Hey, just chuck them.
They just flops
Yeah.
around.
Any other 80s call outs for this movie? The seatbelt thing really stood out to me.
Well,
Nobody got
so
slapped though. It's like the last movie.
well, no, there was no slapping, but there was beat downs with the belt. Like
Yes, the
Billy
nun.
got
Yeah.
smacked by the nun multiple times.
We have to get into some of these scenes because
All right.
there's so many good scenes to talk about. It's a Christmas buffet. Yeah, I like that
Um,
the movie went out of its way at points to try to make the murders like have a Christmas inspired. I wanted all the murders to have this. Like he chokes one guy with a string of Christmas lights that are on, by the way. Why is it that my Christmas lights, one of those freaking bulbs burns out and I got half the string is gone? He chokes the guy out with Christmas lights that stay on the entire time. No problem.
yeah, good
Um,
observation. Yeah.
I wanted like all the deaths to have like a Christmas inspired death
A
murder
little
moment.
thematic, yeah.
But yeah, like antlers, I don't really think of as Christmas necessarily.
No, I thought that was you could tie that to the reindeer and the sledding is that time of the
Oh
year, but then,
yeah.
like, the one woman gets shot with an arrow, in, another hatchet thing. Yeah, they coulda gone further with that, I agree.
That yeah, so in the toy store, he's killed every employee who works there. It's after hours, so it's just the employees that he kills. And they're like having a little Christmas party. They're all drinking alcohol and making out with each other. This is before Billy gets the hatchet, so he pulls out a bow and arrow, and the arrow shoots cleanly right through this woman. It's a toy store bow and arrow. Where did he find a bow and arrow in a toy store so powerful that it could go through a person's chest and come out the other side?
You know what would have been better, and it would have been way more 80s, is do you remember darts? They were like the lawn darts that got banned. Like, you'd throw them
Yes.
up, and this is a game we played as kids. You would all grab
Yes.
these darts that you would throw up in the air. They had a metal spike that, like, literally would go through your head, but this is what we did for fun, and this was a game
Yes.
sold to small kids. It would have been so awesome if you killed her with a dart. It's just like, whoa!
That actually, yes. They made a sequel. I don't know if anyone has suggested that, but that is a fantastic suggestion for this movie in the future. Jarts actually got banned because actual kids were getting like injured by these things like coming down and hitting little kids in the head.
Well, they remade them to have like a soft rubber nub, which
Mhm.
so it sort of takes the thrill of dying out of the game. So
The thrill of dying. I've referenced this in a couple of episodes. Do you think Jarts were like the origin story of your fear of getting your eye poked out, or is it even earlier than that?
well, that's an excellent question. Well, so um, if you'd indulge me for a moment, I could tell you a story from my youth.
Please.
Yeah. Well, you know my brother Kevin. When we
Mhm.
were young, I'm guessing I was probably like 10, and he was maybe 8. Like we'd moved to Reisterstown not that long ago, and we were really into bugs. Whatever, we catch and play with them, like just boys running around. There's no internet or anything. Like you'd go play in the creek in the yard,
Mhm.
and I had caught a cicada. They were those little bugs that sing that song in the summer.
Mhm.
Anyway, it flew up into the tree, and
Wait, you caught it and then you let it go?
I think I had, like caught it in my hands, and it got away from me, and I saw
Okay.
where it flew up in the tree, and I think we're well, in kids' logic, I think we're trying to throw things at it to like knock it out of the tree. Well, I took a windshield wiper blade and I hooked it up to the tree, and it was like, and my brother walked over there and he looked up and the windshield wiper blade came down and went, like stabbed him right below his eye. Like
Oh my
it was
god.
like this close to like going through his eye. Um, yeah, and then he had to go to the hospital. So
Oh, no.
that could have been the origin story there, Shawnee. Yeah.
Wow. I don't remember that story. That is wild. There's
I
the
think yeah. I sent
that
him
could
to the
be it.
hospital a few times. We'll save some of those other stories for another episode.
For other episodes, for other seasons.
One involved a
Holy cow.
chisel, and yeah,
You gotta stop throwing things up in the air. Maybe you invented jarts.
maybe.
And you just found a windshield wiper blade, like, you're, like, in the woods or something?
No, this was like in our, there was shit everywhere.
Crap
Like
laying
probably my
around,
dad was
yeah.
working on a car, or who knows? I could have pulled it off
That
of the car. I don't know.
I feel like there's so many '70s details in that story. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a great story.
Yeah, yeah. So the scene that I'm about to talk about is after Billy is going on this killing rampage in the store, taking out everyone. He then moves out into the street to figure out what's next. But they begin this scene by it's this 80s rancher house, and there's this guy and the girl making out on the pool table, and then you come to realize that the woman Denise is the babysitter for this little girl who comes down the steps. She's like, Denise,
Denise, I want to stay up and see Santa Claus.
Cindy, go back to bed right this minute.
But I can't sleep.
Cindy, if you don't go back to bed, Santa won't come.
He won't?
No, you're being bad, Cindy. Now go back to bed.
So the girl goes back to bed. The girl goes upstairs because she thinks there's a cat outside. Maybe she hears bells or something. She goes upstairs.
Hoodie, you out there? Hoodie, kitty, kitty, kitty.
She opens the door,
Yeah.
and then the cat runs in. But that also is what lets in Billy. So
Yeah,
now
that-
he's attacking the girl. And do you recognize the actress playing
Well,
Denise?
I was like, it's Leanna, quickly.
Yeah, Linnea Quigley. We've seen her like in 4 movies now.
Return of the Living Dead.
Yes. But yes, talk about how she is killed, because that is one of the things people most remember from this
Okay,
movie.
so Denise suddenly being attacked. There's this altercation with Billy. Then Billy proceeds to grab her by the waist. And then he notices across the room that there is a deer head with antlers there. He then picks her up, lifts her up into the air, and then you see this shot from the side where it's her shadow. And basically, she's being impaled onto the antlers by Billy here. It was pretty hardcore, gross scene. I was like, damn.
Not the most realistic, right? I
No.
felt like it was clearly like a kind of a rubber mold of a female stomach and chest that he was like pushing onto plastic antlers. I didn't find it like especially horrifying because it looked kind of fake.
Yeah. That it definitely looked a little fake. And then so I just want to like go with this for another minute, in that then Billy proceeds to kill the boyfriend dressed as Santa Claus. And then the little girl who had come down at the beginning of the scene, this is my favorite scene in the movie.
This is your favorite scene?
Yes.
I genuinely did not know what was about to happen. Like I froze. What the hell is this movie going to do now?
Right. So the little
Yes,
girl
'cause-
comes out, and Billy's beard is like half pulled off. There's blood on his face, and then I don't think he has the hatchet in his hand, or maybe he's got it behind his back. And so the girl's like,
Santa Claus!
he's like, oh, little girl, have you been naughty? And she's like, no, I've not been naughty. And then he's like looking at her, and he reaches into his pocket, and then you see him pull out this, you can't quite tell what it is. And then you see, oh shit, it's a box cutter. And then he's like, have you really been good? And she's like, oh, very good. She's like, did you bring a gift for me? And then he's like, sure did. And he hands her a box cutter. It's got blood on it. And the girl's just standing there staring at this box cutter.
Yes.
It's like, what the hell?
Yes. I was trying to imagine even the young actress that they hired for this scene. How do you explain to this girl who looks like all of 8 years old, a guy dressed as Santa is going to hand you bloody box cutters? Like, does this girl understand the movie she's in? Because even in real life, the actual filming of this looked bananas.
Totally bonkers. Yeah, I was like laughing out loud at just how ridiculous that was. Yeah, what do you got?
This movie had more topless women and like makeout scenes than all the other movies I can remember us watching. I don't recommend watching this with family.
Yeah, I did not watch this with anyone, but yeah, that was one of my notes too. I'm like, I feel like a lot of the movies we've watched that are bad, I feel like there's like some sort of singular vision, or it's a passion project. You can tell that like they just loved what they were doing, and they were making it happen, and it was flawed, whatever. I feel like this one feels like it came out of a focus group where they're like, oh, what's the most number of nude scenes that we need to get to be at this level, and how many kills do we need? Like, it just felt very planned out and formulaic and just kind of like methodical.
Right, because in every act, the movie figured out how to make a sex scene happen, even if it makes no sense. Right. And then in Act 3, he's running around town, and like every house he goes to, there's people. It's like the horniest Christmas movie I've ever seen. And then in Act 3, this is wild, like how trigger happy these police are. The police are like kind of tipped off to the fact that little Billy is going to go back to that orphanage. And by the way, this movie has last week I mentioned how many children were in the movie. this movie is like a school full of kids.
Oh, it's
I was nervous
Yeah.
that some of these
It's a
kids were
pack-
not going to make it.
packed bus full of children.
Yes. The police know that Billy is going back to the orphanage. So the cops race to the orphanage. They see a guy dressed as in a Santa suit walking up to children. They tell him to stop. The guy's just walking towards children dressed as Santa in a Catholic orphanage. The police find that suspicious. And so they just shoot him dead as he's walking up to the kids.
Mowed
And
him
then it
down. Yeah.
cuts to the kids. One kid has blood splatter across his face. And the police are like, oh, that wasn't the right guy. So they just start looking for other Santas. I feel like we talked about this last year when we watched Christmas horror movies. I feel like all of these movies are warning you. Dressing as Santa is not safe. Either you're going to be confused for the killer or the killer's looking for Santas to kill. Either way, I've never been so alarmed at being dressed as Santa Claus. It's an incredibly dangerous profession.
Very dangerous. Yeah. One thing I had in my notes was apparently whoever wrote this film. Let's see, I've got it somewhere. It was there was a couple writers on this one. I think it was Michael Hickey and Paul Camille, and maybe there was another writer too involved. But anyway, they somehow didn't get the memo that you were supposed to come up with catchy one-liners for films like in the 80s. Like, I'll be back. The one-liners in this movie were one words. It was punish and naughty. That was it.
Yeah,
He just walks around and he's like, punish, punish.
Yes.
I was like, what? Like,
He didn't even give us a silent but deadly. We got nothing.
got nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised. I feel like with all of the possible potential Christmas murder puns, like sleigh bells,
Yeah,
they got
sleigh
nothing.
bells.
I was surprised this movie has just got Billy screaming punish. But that it actually relates to the plot because he has like psychologically connected because of his time in the orphanage, like punishment with Christmas, with bad kids get punished, good kids get rewarded. And so, yeah, I feel like they do try to make it make sense in the plot, but you're right. It's not like a very cleverly written script.
Yeah, like it could have been punishing time. It could have been anything.
They got to come up with some Christmas related one, right?
Yeah, I would think so. Like there's a lot of material there.
You have any suggestions, Ryan, for possible
e-
lines?
It's sleighing time.
Have you been good or bad? Yeah, they could have done something. The other scene that I thought was really like delightfully 80s horror cheese was the kids going downhill on sleds.
Yes.
So the first kid sleds down this hill. When the second kid goes to sled down the hill, and the movie does take time to establish these are bad kids who have bullied two other kids and like taken their sleds. So I like the fact that the movie is consistent with Santa really is punishing bad people. I mean, using the word bad loosely because some of the people are bad only because they're having sex and they're premarital sex, and that's enough for Billy to snap. But at least they're doing something in the movie to like make it clear he's not randomly picking people, and he saves that little girl, gives her a lovely box cutter. Anyway, back to the sled. The second kid goes sledding down the hill, and Billy / Santa jumps out with the axe, swings the axe, and then it cuts to, I like how this is edited.
Yeah,
It
that's
cuts
good.
to the kid standing at the bottom of the hill waiting for his friend, and his friend arrives, and it's just neck down. And then the head comes rolling down after him. That, I feel like that's pretty good quality right there. That was a well done scene.
Yeah. Except for if you looked at the head that rolled down the hill, it looked nothing like the kid that
Yeah.
that started the scenes.
Yeah,
That was a little perplexing. But
they just threw a mannequin down a hill.
yeah, they were like,
mannequin head.
that head will work. Just
Right.
roll it onto the snow.
And speaking of which, at the end where Billy is in the orphanage and he gets in because one of the kids lets him in, and he's walking up to Mother Superior, I guess to kill her with an axe.
Yeah, it seemed like it. Yeah.
And then all the kids are watching, and Mother Superior is yelling at him, "There is no such thing as Santa Claus." And I thought, does she think that's going to like make him disappear like an exorcism? Like she's just screaming over and over again, "There's no such thing as Santa Claus." I'm like, there's a bunch of kids in the room. The power of Christ compels you. That's exactly what I thought was happening. Maybe she thought if Billy heard there was no Santa, it would snap him out of it. But what snaps him out of it is a police officer shooting him in the back. Once again, the number of sequels you could get out of the traumatized children. They've now watched 2 Santa Clauses get shot in front of them. Like, what a horrible, horrible orphanage this is.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shut this place down.
that's a busy Christmas day there.
It was like trauma central in this town.
Seriously. So
Are we ready for stabby scores?
Yeah, let's bring it in for stabby scores. I think I went first last time, so
All right. First, I want to remind listeners we have a new stabby rating from 1 to 4. 1 is horrible, and 4 is great, fantastic, must watch. I am going to give Silent Night, Deadly Night a 3. I actually enjoyed this movie, which is good. It's got some flaws, but I actually got a kick out of it. It is exactly, if you want to watch like an 80s slasher movie, I feel like it checks every box of like what these movies are. And I kind of appreciated the fact that it went out of its way to provide some kind of logic for why this guy is killing people at Christmas time and why Christmas like causes him to snap. Like it has lore. This movie came out, I think it was the same weekend as Nightmare on Elm Street, and clearly Nightmare on Elm Street like won the test of, you know, how many spin-offs and sequels can you possibly do. But this movie has like a couple. It had like, I think a handful of sequels. I heard that Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 is actually better than the original. So maybe we need to go visit that one next Christmas. But overall, I got a kick out of the movie. I thought it held together. I appreciated like the very clean 3-act structure. And I like the creativity of the deaths. And then Linnea Quigley, I feel like she's now a celebrity on this podcast. We'd love to have her on if she's listening. I checked her Wikipedia; she's alive, and we've
and that's our benchmark here. If you're alive, we'll take you on the podcast.
And no, I just wanted to make sure if I was calling her out that there's a possibility that I wasn't being disrespectful to her passing.
Exactly.
And so I was like entertained to see her again. She's a celebrity on our podcast as well as in Schlocky Horror. So yeah, 3 stabbies for me.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Wow, Shawnee, this is why we're here. We're here for the contrast and the difference of opinion. I'm just gonna go through the rating score and just underscore what a 1 is one more time. It is worthless, and that is what I gave this movie. I could not get over the flashbacks like over and over, and like just Billy got traumatized. I was like, I'm seeing the same scene over. Like it just felt like to me like it was formulaic. They were like, the only thing that I liked about this movie was some of those creative kills and a couple of the moments we talked about. But I just found the characters flat. They couldn't even pull off a one-liner. It was just one words. I feel like they kind of they phoned it in on this one in terms of I don't feel like the passion was there, and I don't get why this came into a turned into a full-blown franchise, frankly. Like beyond
fascinating
that it's hooky with the Santa being killing the naughty ones, but yeah, this movie was a miss for me.
You're not even giving this a 2, meaning some good scenes. You're just totally, you never want to see it again.
Well, so when you were talking about it and we were talking about it, I was like, oh, I was appreciating it more, but I felt like I just I couldn't deviate from what my initial score was coming. I'm standing strong. I could be swayed to a 2 because, you know, I do think that sledding scene was great, and there's a few other moments, but I'm sticking with worthless. No thanks. I'm going to take Christmas Evil over this movie.
Oh, really? I would totally take this movie over Christmas Evil.
Wow.
I think it's I think the story makes more sense. Christmas Evil, I think the directing is bad. I would love it for listeners who have seen both these movies, Christmas Evil and Silent Night, to reach out and let us know in the contest between these two, which is the best. And maybe let us know what their favorite 70s or 80s Christmas horror movie is, because there's so many we haven't even touched on. We'll come back to this next year. There's plenty. It's a deep bench. And we'll have to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, which, Ryan, you'll be excited to find out, has 40 full minutes of footage from the first movie. So they learn nothing.
Yay! Flashbacks!
Oh, yeah. You're going to see that dad fall out of that car 20 more times.
Mom's dead on the road. Santa has slit her throat. Yeah, jeez.
The whole first movie is recounted for you in real time, so you'll enjoy that. That wraps up another trip down memory lane. Hopefully you enjoyed revisiting 1984 Silent Night, Deadly Night as much as we did.
If you want to support our show, tell your friends or your enemies about SlashBack Cinema, and be sure to check out the merch store at slashbackcinema.com. Every bit helps, and we promise not to spend it all on decorative reindeer antlers.
And we want to hear from you. If you got a favorite memory from the 70s or 80s or a classic movie you'd like us to dissect, drop us a line at slashbackcinema.com because your suggestions keep the conversation alive. Merry Christmas, Ryan.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah, Shani.
Happy Hanukkah and Happy New Year.
All right, Slashers. May you have a festive holiday. Don't dress as Santa Claus. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next year.
Oh, next year? Yeah. Be sure to check out our upcoming episode of Year in Recap, where we may or may not make some New Year's resolutions about SlashBack Cinemas. And be sure to check out the merch store at slashbackcinema.com. Every little bit helps. Let me start that over. Every little bit helps, and we promise not to spell it. Jesus Christ!
Spelled it? Well, in your defense, it's the first time you've ever read this.